Hey there. So, about a month and a half or so ago, I recorded a video that showed me unboxing a box. And that box is a forever box. And it is what I am going to use to send in things like slides and film and things like that that I just don't want to deal with in terms of digitizing. So I'm going to have them do it for me. So in the last video, I kind of opened my box of stuff and said, I am not going to be packing this forever box tonight because there was so much in there I didn't even know I had the amount of stuff that I had. So really quickly, I'm going to recap and show you kind of how I organize things so that I know what I'm sending in and all that kind of stuff. So you'll recall I had these two boxes, which are filled with 8mm film reels. Some of them are in boxes, some of them are in cases like this one, and others are just the reel. Both boxes are full, and then I've got two out here that I will actually be sending in to digitize. Unfortunately, most of them didn't have anything like written on it. This one did, and this one did on the box. So I'm going to go ahead and get these digitized. The other ones, I'm going to have to figure out what I can do to view them. I believe I have a projector somewhere, but I don't know if it's the right type of projector. And if it even works. It's so old, I don't even know. So I'm gonna look into how I can view those to see whether or not they're ones I want to digitize. And then I also selected this one, which is also an 8mm, but it's a bigger one. And the writing on the case it says it's my parents' wedding, which I didn't know was on video. So I've already gone ahead and labeled these with the stickers. I'll show you a little bit later, but I've already gone and labeled them because this one required 4 of these stickers. So I have 2 here and 2 on the back because they have to be put on the actual reel of film, not the case, not the box. So I have labeled these already because I needed to know how many items I have. So that reel, this one right here, is 4 items because of its size. Each of these is just 1 item, and you can see that I labeled this one already. And this one, I'm not going to take it out of the box, but it is labeled on the actual reel. So those are ready to go. The rest of them, I don't know what I'm going to do with. Like I said, I'm going to try to view them, figure out how I can do that, and determine whether or not I want any of them digitized, at which point I'll buy another box. The other thing that I did was I went through all these slides. You remember I had this box full of slides. I had cases like this full of slides. I had these. I had loose slides all over the box. I have since gone through, and it took me about 5 hours across 2 evenings to get everything sorted and organized. So what I did is with the slides, these boxes here are all my parents' wedding. And because I decided to do the film, I decided I'm not going to digitize these yet for a couple of reasons. One, I can see some of them and I can tell that there's a lot of duplicates. I actually have wedding pictures in these batches here. I also have the original photos. So I'm not that concerned with those. The other ones that are in these boxes are things like, the table photos where they go around and they get the family or the couple or the individual or whatever. They're guests mostly that I don't know, so I really don't want to have all of those digitized. And I don't think my mom wants them at all. So I don't know that I want to waste the time or money to deal with those. What I would do is go through them, and I do have a slide viewer that may or may not work. I'm not sure. I tried it. It didn't quite work. But I may be able to find something. I've just been doing the holding up to the light with a magnifying glass, and that seems to be helping. But for the people I recognize, I may go ahead and pull those at some point. But I think what I want to do is I want to bring them out to my mom and visit her and go through them. And we'll pick out the ones that we want to digitize. But everything else, pretty much that's here is going to get digitized, except for what's in this little container, which, yes, it is a Ziploc container. It is not an archival box, so don't sue me. But these were just like loose things that were in here. Like there's this photo frame. And then in this envelope are a bunch of slides. There's probably like 7 or 8 slides in here of a photo, or different takes of a photo of my grandparents, which I have several photographs of already that are in good condition. And, they're not yellowing, they're not stuck to a magnetic album, nothing like that. So I don't need those digitized. I have some negatives-ish kind of things. I have no idea what they are. I am going to attempt, since there's only a few of them, I'm going to attempt to scan them because I do have technology that I can use to reverse the negative. I also have some glass slides, and I do actually want to try to do some of these. The problem that I have is Forever could probably digitize these. The problem is it is not their standard thing. So in the box, there was this sheet that came, and it tells you that they digitize video, audio, film, photos, slides, and then it specifically says 35 millimeter slides. These are kind of 35 millimeter, but they're glass. So I don't think they would do those. And then negatives. And then if you have specialty items, you can call and talk to them about it. If I had like 100 of these glass slides, I would call and ask them. But since I only have 2, I'm going to attempt to do it myself. Don't know if that's going to work. It'll be another behind the scenes. We'll see. And then I had some of these slides. You might recall I found some from the electrical light parade at Disney World. So I have some of those, and I also have some slides from the House on the Rock in Spring Green, Wisconsin. So I can't have them digitize them because I do not own the copyright to them, and I don't really want them digitized. So they're kind of just hanging out in this box. And then I have these slides, which size-wise, like the case-wise, they are 35 millimeter, but they're plastic. And as you can see, the negative in there is really tiny. I know what they are, and I probably have photographs of these equivalents. However, they are more than likely scanned with my FlipPal scanner because they are stuck in a magnetic album. So I may see what I can do about trying to get these scanned myself. Don't know, we'll see. But I'm not in a big hurry for those. Except for the fact that those other ones, they weren't in really good condition because they were yellowing or browning or oranging. But I still have them. So it's not like I don't have the memory, right? And I was like, 3 or 4 years old, so I don't have the memory at all. And then finally, I have about 8 or 9 large glass slides. And I couldn't even tell you what they are. This looks like a wagon or a carriage of some kind. I have no idea. But again, I'm going to try to see if I can scan these and do something with them. So that's kind of why they're in here. Again, not ideal in terms of archival, but that's what I have. I needed to put the loose stuff somewhere safe, and this is all I had. So they're not going to stay in here very long. So I will get an archival box to put them in after I digitize them, which will probably be after the first of the year. Okay. I also have an audio tape and one of the little itty bitty tapes, like the ones you put in an answering machine, back in the day, for those of us who know what an answering machine is. And it has my dad's name on it, so I'm assuming it was a message he left or the recording that people heard when they called. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that that's what this is. And then this is a tape where it's me, my dad, and a family friend singing Uptown Girl by Billy Joel, because there was like a recording studio deal thing that you could go in and do like a karaoke-ish recording thing. I'm not going to get that digitized either. Not because of me, because I could sing. But I don't think I could handle listening to it. So these, I can't deal with these. My dad's been gone for over 20 years. It's probably been like 25. He died in 89. My math is really bad. So it's been a long time, but it's still rough. So I'm not doing anything with these yet. And then finally, I have this box of slides. And they're kind of like the size of those glass ones that I showed you earlier. And, but they're not 35 millimeter. So again, I'd have to do something special. And they all appear to be photos of the first house that I lived in. And so I have pictures of that, so I'm not really that worried about them. So I'm not going to deal with those yet either. They're going to fall into I should probably put that over there, into the I will try to do it myself thing if that actually happens. So all I have left, don't talk about the films, all I have left are all these slides. Now what I did is I took them all out and I organized them because they were just a mess. I really thought the things in here that doesn't want to open were like organized, because there's like little things here and there's a few that are written in that I thought corresponded and they don't. So unfortunately, that didn't really help me. So what I ended up doing is, in most cases, with the exception of a handful, most of them have some sort of date indicator on the back. Sometimes it's like this one's like typed, I don't know if you can see that. And other times they're kind of like a stamp, like an embedded, engraved stamp. And so what I did is I put them in order. I sorted them by year. I put them in order. Some of them were January 1971. Some of them were June 1971. So I have all the Januarys together, all the Junes together, the October, the Decembers, whatever, all in order. And I started with the earliest ones because I really didn't know how many I had. And each item that can go in the box for slides is 25 slides counts as one item. So remember, I get 20 items go in the box. I have 4 with this particular reel of film, 5 and 6. So I'm left with 14 batches of slides, right? That's my math right there. 14 batches of slides. So I started with the earliest. Actually, I started with a batch that I when I was going through them, I knew I wanted, because I didn't have a photo equivalent of them. I knew I didn't have a photo equivalent of them, or they were so old, because I have slides from the 50s and the 60s that I don't have these photos of. So I decided to create a batch of those that I wanted to make sure I got digitized. And then I started with the earliest, because again, I don't have these in prints. Now, when I start getting into the 70s, especially the late 70s, I probably actually the late 60s through the late 70s, so that like 10-year span, like 67 to 77. I actually probably have a lot of these in prints. I don't know, but it's easier for me just to go through and get them all digitized, because I know a lot of those photos are damaged yellow, they're stuck in a magnetic album, so I might be able to get a better scan from these slides. Fingers crossed. So anyways, I went through and I did that, and then they are actually in order by year, and I'm batching them that way, and I actually am digitizing all of the slides. These are my 14 batches of 25. And then I actually have 2 extras to finish off the slides. And it doesn't even, one of them is only 22 items as opposed to 25, or 22 slides instead of 25. But I figured I might as well just, instead of having a little batch left over, I figured I'd just go ahead and do the extra. I can do extra. In fact, I thought that I was out of my sale price window, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to pay full price for these, which I would be willing to do. But I looked at my little booklet, and where my little stickers are, it says sale price valid until 11/29. It is 11/13, I believe. Is that right? Say the 13th. Of course, by the time you're seeing this, it might not be the 13th anymore, but it is the 13th of November. And I am getting that done right now, because I want to make sure I do that, because it's $18 for each extra item as opposed to $29.99. So I'm basically like buying one, getting one free or something like that. So it's not close to that. So I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that. So basically, a couple things. One, I kind of already went over what they allow, and you've kind of seen what I have and what I'm not going to send them. I kind of went through this instruction booklet in the original video real quick. It just goes through and it tells you the information on, collect your stuff, and this is what you can send in. And like this one is the film, and it's got a little bar in here, and that's how I knew my little ones are worth 1 item, because if I stick it here in the middle, which I can't really tell where the middle is, but if I stick it here in the middle, it's telling me that it's 3 inches and 1 item. And then when I did the bigger one, it ended up being 200 feet, which equaled 4 items, meaning 4 labels. So that was handy and helpful, because I'm like, how am I supposed to know how many it's supposed to get? Well, there's a little bar in there that tells me. Photos, audio, and then you kind of get the instructions on barcoding, and it tells you, 25 photos, 25 negatives, or 25 slides is 1 barcode. And then the film, it says to apply barcode directly to the film reel, not the protective case or box. So follow directions. I did. And then here's the all the barcodes. There's more than 20 here, because you may need more, and you can also send them extra items. So I am sending them 2 extra items. I'm sending a total of 22 items. All of them are paid for except for 21 and 22. Those 2 I have to pay $18 a piece, so another $36. And then finally, they tell you to pack it, apply your prepaid packing slip thingy, and then drop it off. And it goes to a FedEx. So I have to find a FedEx location. I was hoping it was UPS. That I know where there is one. So, okay, we'll figure it out. Or I can maybe call and have them pick it up. Or just chase the guy at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, whatever works. Okay. And then you might remember, if you did watch the first video, it came with a bag of bags. You know, you unpack the box, you get a box, you unpack the bag, you get a bunch of bags. My thought was these are probably archival, and that's great. The problem is I only have 4 of this size, and I have 14 batches, and it doesn't indicate whether or not you can put more than one batch in a bag. You know, like if I put 50 in one bag, and I put 50 in a bag, 50 slides in a bag and 2 barcodes. It doesn't indicate that. So I didn't want to take the chance. So then, and there's another, like this really big one. But at any rate, I'm probably going to use this to at least put these in here just so that they don't get, so if something happens and the bag or the box ends up outside and gets soaked for some strange reason, which I doubt it would, but at least they're protected by this bag. So hopefully it won't get wet. So, okay. If you will excuse me for a moment, I need to go get bags because I forgot to get the bags. So, excuse me for a minute. Okay, I'm using Ziploc snack size bags, which are these little half ones. Just because they're the only bags I have that are good size for this, and no, they're not archival either, but they won't be staying in here for very long. So, basically, I'm going to take a batch, kind of roughly split them in half, put them side by side in the bag. I don't know if you guys can see that. I've got them side by side. Try to get the air out. Seal it. Now I have my bag of 25. And I buried my labels. And I take one of these little stickers off, stick it on the bag. And there we go. I will finish these up. And with the beauty of video editing, you won't have to watch me do this the whole time. Okay, the reason I stopped to do that was because that batch for some reason felt a lot thicker than the other ones, and I wanted to make sure that there were only 25, and there were, so don't know. Okay, so I already divided these into batches and just used little pieces of paper in between. And that one I actually missed like 3, so I had to kind of backtrack and put them in that bag. But I don't know if I said that earlier, that I had already separated all of these out. So when I organized them, I made a decision as to, I started batching, and then I'm like, okay, I have X number. And that's when I made the decision to go ahead and include those last 2 batches, because there was only 2 left. And there's no sense in not including them. So, but that's why I've been able to do these without counting them, because I've already counted all of them twice. But like I said, that one earlier just seemed a little strange. It felt a little off to me, but it was correct. Last batch here. And item number 22. Remember I said I'm allotted 20 items. I counted them out and I had 2 extras, so I'm at 22. All right. So now that that's all done, it's just a matter of putting everything in the box and affixing the shipping label. I'll go ahead and actually pull that out. It still has the little gummy stuff on it, so I'm just gonna stick it there for the moment. But I'm ready to go. I don't know how long this video is. I don't know how long I've been doing this. Probably about an hour or so. So in all, it took me probably 6 hours to organize everything over the course of 2 nights, and then bag it up and do all of that. Of course, I spent a little while explaining everything again, so it can probably take like a half an hour out of that. But depending on how much stuff you have, it could be a project. Just be cognizant of that and break it up into smaller pieces if you have to. I chose to organize the slides because when they do them, I at least want them somewhat batched in a time period, because I don't know how they're gonna turn out. I mean, I don't know if they do them in order by item number. They might. If they do, that'd be fantastic, because at least my decades will be in order because of the way that I did them and bagged them. So yeah, I don't know. At any rate, all I need to do is fill up this box, and this box is rather large. It's big, and as you can see here, everything is like this. It's just this stuff right here. It's not going to fill this box. I need a smaller box, like half the size of this. But what I'm going to do is, let me get this stuff out of the way and show you really, really quick. There's this kind of like crisscrossy thing in here. I think it's in here to keep the integrity of the box, like the structure of the box in shipping, like when they ship the box to you. But I think I'm actually going to take advantage of it and put, like these in here. Probably put some stuff on the bottom. Like those, bubble packs, or I've got peanuts in the box that all the stuff was in to begin with. I've got, newspaper, things like that, packing materials, things like that, bubble wrap, whatever. I can find something. I'll just order a bunch of stuff from Amazon and get those little, those bags that have air in them. That'll work fine too. And just fill them up. And then that way they're not moving around and stuff. So I think I'm actually going to keep this handy dandy little X thingy and take advantage of it. Let me take this out so I don't forget that. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes of me sort of packing my box. I didn't actually pack it on camera because I've got to get some, stuff to put in there. So sort of packing up, getting it ready to be packed, which I will do later tonight, and then figure out where to find a FedEx place and get it out there to them so that they can start digitizing all of my stuff. And that'll be a project for 2023, is to get all that stuff identified and tagged in forever and all that fun stuff. And plus I want to check out these 3 videos. So, all right, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you didn't check out the first video, I'll have a link to it in the description for this one. If you want to see me unpack a box with a box in it. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.